I hid weed in the principal's office and somehow didn't get caught. I was 16 and a sophomore in high school. One of the security guards caught me skipping and took me to the administrator's office. While I was sitting in the lobby waiting to be called into one of the rooms, I overheard him saying I smelled like weed. I had about a half ounce in my pocket and knew they were going to search me. I immediately crumpled up a paper and casually walked into the principal's office, which was empty at the time, and I acted like I needed to use his trash can to throw that paper away. Instead, I threw my weed in there, went back into the lobby. They called my name, and as expected they searched me and found nothing. I took my detention slip and walked away, and once again as I was leaving I crumpled another piece of paper up, walked into the empty principal's office and grabbed my weed. It was a very close call, and it would have been bad had I been caught because my parents didn't have a clue that I smoked weed. This was over a decade ago in 2008 and I still think about it. Those some dumb security guards, but good shit. My heart would have been racing. Half an ounce? You were walking around your high school with half an ounce in your pocket? Good going. When I was 18, I was sniffed out by a police dog on Victoria Coach Station, had an ounce on me at the time and was going camping with some friends. Bad luck had it that it was Reading Festival/Notting Hill Carnival weekend, so loads of police sniffing out for drugs. I talked to them, trying my best to get them to let me go without a search, and came up with an elaborate tale of my sister being in labor with her second child. I had 2 minutes to catch a coach, and since it was going to Exeter not reading, they assumed I was clean and let me go. I never sweated so much in my life. I once had a gram of MD on me when I was around 16 when myself and my mates used to get into the clubs in a small, shitty UK town with fake IDs. We had just done a little bump down an alley on the way to the club when a police van rocks up at the bottom of the street and literally blocks us in. At first I tried to just keep walking, acting natural, but it became very clear that they had seen us on CCTV and were heading straight for us. They lined us up against a wall, confirm my suspicions about the CCTV and tell us they'll have to search us. I'm fucked and genuinely shitting one, so I decide my best course of action is to just be compliant, honest, and hope they at least respect that, as I'm already fucked either way. Start chatting to the copper as he's searching me, trying to make the whole thing less awkward and trying to chill myself out a bit when he asks me to empty my pockets. As I do that, he asks, "Do you have anything on you that you shouldn't have?" Me being a bit anxious and a bit smashed, hands him my packet of Rizla that is all of my MD stashed behind the packet and says, "Yeah, just in here." I figure he's going to find it anyway, and at least I haven't made things worse by trying to lie and act a dick. He looks through my wallet, my phone case, then looks up at me. I'm expecting he's about to pop me in the van when he hands back every one of my things and says, "Well, if you did have anything then you're incredibly lucky, get on your way." I'm coming up anyway, but this copper handing me back all of my drugs and telling me to just carry on with my night sends my stomach soaring, so I try and act as chill as possible and walk down the street to recalibrate. The most I can gather is this copper misunderstood me and presumed I was just so nervous and worried that I'd thought just having Rizla was illegal, underage smoking, and he hadn't realized that I was admitting the gram of Class A drugs stashed in that very packet. My two mates had just left their bags loose in their pockets, so ended up being arrested and in dire shit with their families. I felt so guilty and shitty for them for a long time, but it was pretty dumb lacking a contingency plan for getting searched. Nice one. Years ago, I watched a guy get searched by cops and he had his weed in his hand the whole time. What gets me is you fucking went back for it. Nice job, bud. I was once pulled over at age 16 with about $500 worth of cocaine in my trunk. I assumed someone narked. He asked for license and registration, asked me where I was going, and told me to have a nice day. I still think about my close calls, too. I never understood why people brought weed to school. Lol, maybe so their parents wouldn't find it? I kept mine in a bag under a rock outside. Ha. Definitely gonna get lost in the comments because I don't sort by new, but story time. I once bought a bong online and was bringing it to my friend's house, but I had to go to school first. Had it in a box and just carried it around all day. At one point I even asked my advisor if I could keep my fragile package in his office. He was more than happy to help. I still laugh about it to this day. I hope you do too, op. Jesus, rocking half an O at 16 at school. That's fucking crazy, dude, lol. Lamau, I did something very similar. Someone snitched on my group of friends for smoking behind a dumpster during lunch. Really stupid, I know. The next day, I was in the security office with a quarter in my backpack. First I tried to eat it all but only got about halfway before giving up and hiding the rest behind his computer desk. Got searched after and they found nothing. Still got suspended and had to do a 2-month drug program though. The security officer was super chill and everyone loved him. He honestly probably left me alone in his office to give me a chance to do something like that. Nice. I just shoved that shit in my underwear, but that works too, I guess. XD. Close call, huh? This is too godly to be on this sub. Holy shit, UFR brought a half ounce of weed to school. I've had maybe 3/4 of that amount on me in school tops, in 3 bags, in an air-right mason jar in the dark, obscure bottom of my backpack, and it freaked me the fuck out. Once in my freshman year, I know, I cringe thinking about it, I'd mixed a shit ton of vodka into a sparkling water bottle and my friends reported me to the office because they were concerned. Anyway, they opened the bottle and sniffed it to see if it had alcohol in it, and something about the carbonation and flavor of the sparkling water must have masked the stench of the vodka, cause I walked away with 0 punishment, despite also being drunk as fuck and asked to take a breathalyzer test, which I cheated on so I passed. They definitely all knew though, just couldn't prove it. Low-key shakes me to my core to this day and haven't done anything like it at school since. The law is substantially more harsh on drug possession than a single school truancy. As such, if you are in trouble at school and you are in possession, leave. Get off school property. On foot if you have to. Once you're off school grounds, your Fourth Amendment rights apply and you can refuse consent to be searched. Even if you are inevitably searched, it might end up inadmissible in court. I assure you, a suspension for leaving school without permission is substantially better than a minor in possession of a Schedule I drug. Your two favorite phrases when dealing with law enforcement. I don't consent to any searches. Am I being detained, or am I free to go? My buddy did this at a border crossing station shortly after 9/11. Got randomly selected and surprise they found weed residue on my girl's hippie purse. Fast forward, we're in the station taking about how they know damn well we have more weed, and if they find it they're going to literally strip search us and impound the car and a lot of other fucking serious shit. We literally just bought an eighth for the ride to Montreal. My buddy says, "Excuse me officer, may I tie my shoe?" Gets granted permission. Reaches into his sock and stuffs the bag under the carpet. Meanwhile I'm freaking out whether or not to cop to it or not, and my buddy is just giving me the shut up fool face. Got away with it. I'd love to know what happened to that bag. Same. Fake plant seemed poetic. 1984, weed was hidden in my HS principal's office, also. A couple of years earlier a group of anonymous appreciative students had left a house plant in his office for him. Question is whether he really didn't know what he was watering all that time? My senior year the discovery was made and the inquiries began, but no one was ever caught. Lol. Tossed a pipe behind a bookcase in my vice principal's office over 20 years ago. Wouldn't be surprised if it was still there. I was busted. Just after I sat down across from him at his desk he got called to his door. Somehow I managed to sneak around his desk, drop it and got back to my seat without being seen or heard. He was in the doorway talking to someone. No evidence, no problem. There were security guards at your high school? Yo. I hid weed in a bowl in the resource officer's office, and never got caught. In his filling cabinet when he left for a couple minutes to deal with the other kid I got into it with. It's been 15 years now. So, I had a conversation with a math teacher in high school. I asked her what the point was of all this math. She said the point of it is to teach you problem solving. Not the math itself. How to solve the issue. You, solve the issue. The student beat the teacher. Dude, this is an awesome story. I'm proud of your quick wit and adapting and overcoming this certain situation. Bravo. You were very dumb but also very lucky too, lol. Don't take that as offense, I walked in your shoes once. Who in the hell would bring a whole half ounce of weed to a school though? That would only make sense if you were slanging it. That's 14 grams. Even if grinded up it would fill up a Tolkien size capsule. Sketch. I always smoked a doink at the bus stop and got questions about it constantly since I was first. The bus always smelled like weed, but I had a good stash for the roaches so they never found any proof. When y'all youngins going to learn to go get you a bottle of scent away from like Gander Mountain and spray that onto the wrapping of your stash and onto yourself? Or you can use a bag of Cheetos to mask the scent with. I'd carry on me and my bag a small bottle of scent away and cologne spray with a small bag of Cheetos in case I wanted it in my pocket for a quick exchange. This isn't a confession, this is just bragging. Serious, who can afford a half-ounce bag of weed in high school? Wait, is school allowed to search you? Wait, you mean to tell me 2008 was over a decade ago? That shit always gets me. You're a god. Gotta call fake with the fact you're saying you had half an ounce in your pocket at school. This is almost the exact post that was on here the other day about the guy leaving weed in a random locker and then also getting it back, so yeah. I doubt it, bro. This post deserves more upvotes. Legend. Wow, legendary plays mate. Haha, you did not have a half-oz, dude, that's more than would fit in a pocket or your hand. Good street smarts. Any chance this was in the Detroit area? Sounds very familiar. Sounds like my old high school Lamau. High IQ. Congratulations, you going the ranks of the rest of the 94% of stoners that don't get caught. Did law enforcement search you? The principal enjoyed the buzz. Rusty Shackelford, I like the name. Koth. Sandman? My brother got caught smoking K2 in a school bathroom back in the day, and in the office he just played it off as smoking a cigarette because they couldn't smell pot, and he had the bag of K2 hidden in one of his binders that they didn't find when they searched, just got off with a warning, lol. It's very rare that we have James Bond moments, but sometimes when the stars align and the situation calls for it, it occurs. Son, that was your James Bond moment. Well done. Balls/ovaries of steel.